school, you used to do a count off, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Would y'all mind doing that for me? Start with you, Josh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,
17 and 20? 17, 18, 19, 20. Go ahead, Jason. 21?
23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31,
32,
33, 35,
36,
37, 38, 39, 40.
41.
So I made 40 books yesterday. 40 books, right? 40. So when I tell y'all, and I'm gonna teach y'all math in just a minute, y'all might wanna check my math, okay? I'm just saying. My name is Kathy Byram. I was Kathy LaCroix. I was the executive director for the Heating, Air Conditioning, Refrigeration Contractors Board for 17 years. I retired about 6 years ago. Prior to that, I was the attorney for the Home Builders Licensure Board. Prior to that, I was the attorney for the insurance department. Prior to that, I worked in the governor's office. So I've done a lot of my stuff in state government, but I'm also a licensed heating and air conditioning contractor. So I took a 2-week class, like some of our students in here, in Texas. So I just want y'all to know that I have taken this test before, and I know Brian's gonna go over you with test techniques, but I took the bar exam, 3 full days, 8 to 5. Full day, no open book, you had to write stuff down. It was awful, right? I took this test, 5 hours, and my palms were sweating. The time came up, it says 5 hours. No, it says 4 hours and 59 minutes, and I'm like, oh my God, it's 4 hours and 59 minutes. Oh my God, it's 4 hours and 58 minutes. Oh my God, it's 4 hours and 57 minutes. I'm like, I gotta turn that off, because I was just going crazy. So I want y'all to know that you just need to settle down. And there's 2 things I want y'all to walk out with. One is, please do what we asked you to do. Y'all have paid a lot of money to come and listen to us. It's not cheap, right? We want y'all to do what we said. We have a proven record. And there are some people that just come to our classes, like this class today, and go, I'm gonna do what they said, but whatever. Do exactly what we asked you. There's gonna be one thing that Brian's gonna ask you to do that's gonna be the hardest thing you've ever done, but I promise you, if you do that, you will do substantially better than if you didn't come to this class. Okay, now I'm gonna catch my breath, and I'm gonna talk to y'all. If y'all wanna fuss at me, I wrote several of these laws, okay? So if y'all got some problems, y'all can talk to me about it, okay? I'm gonna also give you a copy that you can take in the test with you. So before y'all leave tomorrow, I'm gonna put on the front of it a cover sheet with what you've got in the book. We're gonna staple it together, and then when they ask you to show the law or show that, this is the only thing that you can have in that is copied, okay? This is the only, every other thing you have to have as a book. Okay, go? Any questions so far? Can y'all hear me okay? So 41 people, and I made 45 books. I'm not really sure how that math worked out. We'll figure that out later. Okay, so all of y'all are here. How many of y'all have already submitted your application, not Elizabeth, to the board to take the test? How many of y'all are taking your test tomorrow? Okay? I have a 100% pass rate on people that take their test on Monday after this class. Okay? 100%. Now, are you gonna mess me up? Please don't. Please don't. But this is funny, because I tell people, do not take the test on Monday after you take this class. I don't want you to, because your brain is mush. I mean, we're talking 2 full days, we're cramming it in, it's gonna be tough. Your brain needs a day to recover, okay? So because what I'm gonna tell y'all is, do not do anything the night before the test. This is not a cram test you can cram on, okay? Brian's gonna tell you the same thing, but I just wanna reiterate that. You cannot study for this test, okay? The only thing I will ask y'all to do is read the NASCO book, especially if you don't know anything about business. If you've never heard of FSLA, you've never heard of a P&L statement, I want you to read this book, okay? Everything else, just get familiar with where it's at. Now we'll take a breath. All right, the first thing, and all of this is in your book, all of y'all are gonna be considered a certified contractor. Okay, that means any and business of heating and air conditioning for hire. Now, if I give you a case of beer, Charlie, is that for hire? Yes, yes it is. If I buy you dinner, I mean, I made a C in calculus at Auburn because I gave my teacher a case of beer, so maybe he was for hire, I don't know. But, so for hire, so you have to, if you're getting paid or you're getting some type of reimbursement, some type of bartering, you need to have a license, okay? All of y'all are in here to get that license, and you don't wanna loan it to anyone, okay? I taught the class yesterday, and I said, what y'all use as the word subcontractor is something totally different than what the board uses it, okay? So if you have a question about loaning your license out, you call me, Kathy. Some guy asked me to loan my license. We'll talk about it. I'll explain to you how that works, and he needs a W-2 and 1099s and all those things, okay? All right, so for hire, engaged in installation or service or repair, you actually even need a license if you're changing out the thermostats, if you're changing out the filters, if you're doing duct cleaning. You gotta have a license, okay? I believe that was on the test as well. So just so you know, duct cleaning, and that's gonna be in there. I'm gonna show you where that's at. Okay? The person in responsible charge, that's what y'all are, okay? You're gonna be the person in responsible charge for your company. You're either gonna own your company or you're gonna be an employee of that company, and you're considered the responsible in charge, okay? You have to, by law, you either have to be a member of the LLC, you have to be an employee of the corporation, or, you know, either that, W-2, you have to get a W-2, 1099s don't work. Or you can be a partner or a member of the LLC in order to be the responsible in charge, okay? So if somebody asks you, hey Ron, can you loan me your license to do the work? Or you come to work for me. You do the license, right? And you say, sure, I'll be glad to do that. Now, I'm gonna need to be the member, one of the members of the LLC or an employee of your company, okay? Both sides, one side. Are y'all cold enough in here? Because I set it down to 64, which is what I have my veteran on. And that feels good too. We've been running around, been putting tables up. Usually, we're pretty, you know, this is funny. The new people that don't know us, you know, we're usually like right on top of stuff, you know, but I want a little sympathy from y'all. Do you mind? I had heart surgery a year ago, so I'm not really like back to full yet, and so am I getting any sympathy from anybody? No, nobody thinks me there. Everybody's like, oh, okay, whatever. Oh, yeah, that's what I need. Oh, yeah. Display of your certification number and your business name. It must be 2 inches in height on your truck or your car, but it's got to be on every single thing you give to a consumer, okay? So for an example, if you're gonna give a business card, I'm gonna give you a business card to you, Nick, okay? Nick, on my business card is gonna have to have my license number. Now, if y'all all get a license this year, your number will start with 24, okay? 24 will be your license number. It's a 5-digit number. You don't have to memorize this part, I'm just helping you. But this is on the test. 2 inches both sides of your vehicle, and the top does not count, okay? Doesn't need to be on your shirts, doesn't need to be on your hats, but it needs to be on any videos, anything for the public, okay? Now, I had one guy ask me, he said, my wife drives a Cadillac, I think that's gonna be tagged if I put my, you know, tag on that, and I said, no. I said, well, buy a magnetic sticker. How hard is that? Because guess who's gonna turn you in? The people at the supply house. You know, they're getting you're getting your supplies, they're gonna be the ones that are turning you in. So, anyway, I gotta be on all documentation, all forms of advertising, your company name, and your number, okay? Misuse of license, I was misusing Ron's license. That law, I made sure that that was in there because we had so many people that were loaning their license to unlicensed contractors. And then y'all are getting in trouble for it by loaning your license, so please don't do that. Jail sentence, this is my favorite of the laws. If you are an unlicensed contractor, you are in violation of the law, and you are a Class A misdemeanor, up to $1,000 and not more than a year. So if you get in trouble with the board and you get criminally prosecuted, it's a class A misdemeanor. I'm gonna need y'all to say that with me. It's a what misdemeanor?
Class A.
Class A misdemeanor. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna use this fancy thing. 30,000, a performance bond. The bond requires a performance bond in the amount of 15. While y'all are here for test purposes, $15,000 is a performance bond you have to purchase in order to get your license. That's gonna change probably in the next year or so. Gonna go up because $15,000 is how much? One system, right? The performance bond is not for your protection, it's for your consumer's protection, okay? So you need that, how much do you need that for?
15,000.
What is a class, what misdemeanor? Class A, $15,000 bond. Fines, the board may levy fines to up to $2,000 per violation, up to $2,000. So you don't wanna get a fine with the board, but if you do get in trouble with the board, please call me. I'll be glad to talk to you about it, explain to you what you need to do, okay? But, how much is the fine?
2,000.
Per what?
For violation.
So 5 violations, how much you gonna pay the board? You wanna do that? You really wanna do that? You really wanna waste your money and pay it to the board? I don't wanna give them any more of my money. Procedure in the event of loss, certified contractor for the purposes of the test, you must notify the board within 10 days, okay? Within 10 days, the law has changed on that, but the test has not changed. They need now have an emergency that you can continue. But I told my class yesterday that if you have a wife or significant other or child that you want in this business, get them licensed. Let's get them licensed, because I cannot tell y'all how many times the wife would call us and say her husband passed away, or the son would call and say, my dad passed away, I don't have a license. He had to shut his business down. If that's your only means of income, and you're having to shut down, that's tough. You're gonna have to do that. You just don't wanna do it with, unlicensed. You don't want to get in trouble with that, okay? Because how much can you get in trouble for? What is the class? What misdemeanor is?
Class A.
Bond? Okay? If you are the certified contractor and you decide, Charlie, you've been working for my company, Kathy's HVAC Inc. for 5 years, and you're my responsible in charge, and you decide to leave, then you need to notify the board that you're leaving, because anything I do, like say I'm kind of shady, and anything I do, you're responsible for, okay? Anything wrong I do, then you're responsible, because you hold the license, okay? So be sure to notify the board. Every year, you have to have how many hours of continuing education?
4 years.
4 hours. You need a highlight, Sean? You need a highlight?
No, it's not anymore.
Oh, you need a highlight? Yeah, we got plenty of them back here.
There's actually one that I gave.
You still using that one?
Yeah.
Okay, Dave's needs one, just a couple. Whoever needs a highlighter, please, because when I get to the NASCAR part, y'all gonna be highlighting like crazy people. It's all gonna be yellow. Now, we had one guy, he highlighted everything in the book. I'm like, how can you tell what's important? He goes, it's all important.
You can highlight, or you just can't write it.
You can write notes.
So, this book, you said I could bring this into the test?
Not the book, just the law part,
Which is what?
which is what you're going over now.
This,
That's the NASCAR book.
the law part.
The law is what you're going over right now, what we're going over.
So I can take this in there?
No, you cannot. I'll help you with it.
Okay.
Cody, I'll help you. I'll explain it to
You
you.
can have handwritten notes inside like the book or whatever.
You can have a formula written in the book.
Okay.
So, manual J equals A plus, area plus times U times TD, right? All of my people that I taught, who did I teach manual J to? Y'all are gonna do so good. All right, how much is my bond?
15.
How many hours of CE?
4.
How much is my class, what misdemeanor? $2,000 fine. Okay, the fees have changed a little bit since, but they're correct in your book. Everybody that submitted their application, I had this question come up yesterday, had to pay $150 for the exam plus a $6 convenience fee, right? So it's about $156. You submit that with your application. That's your exam fee. Then, when you get ready to take the test, once you pass the exam, to get your active license, it's $190. You'll need to send in an AO1, AO2 form, okay, to the board with your bond. Okay, so after you pass, you need to fill out some more paperwork, okay? If you have any questions about that, please feel free to call me. I will walk you through everything, all right? The late fee after December 31st is $250. Annual renewal fee for inactive, if you wanna become inactive, and we tell people, if you're not in the business or you don't think you're gonna be in it, then go inactive. Let me tell you what I would suggest, y'all. I can't tell y'all again, how many people had an active license, dropped it, because they moved to another state and thought they weren't gonna use it, and then they moved back. Now they're gonna have to retest. So keep your inactive license for a couple years just to figure out what you're gonna do, okay? I suggest that only because you don't wanna, you may wanna take the test again, but I don't ever wanna take the bar exam again. I mean, like, I was late turning my bar information in, I drove it down to Montgomery. I was like, here's my money, please don't make me take that test again, okay? So, for y'all, the same. So just go inactive, it's real easy, and you still have to get continuing education, okay? But there's a lot of places that offer it for free or a nominal charge, okay? The apprentice registration, $25, that's pretty nominal, and that's gonna change. Probably there won't be an apprentice, or there'll be a mandatory apprentice in a couple of years. Okay, so the part that I have taught y'all and the part that I'm going to put in your books, and we'll staple them all together, and that'll be what you take into the test with you. Don't worry about that. I will make sure everybody has what they need before they have to take their test tomorrow, okay? Then you can take what I'm giving you into the test. All right, are there any questions?
So-
Class what?
With the,
Performance bond? Okay, and how many hours of CE?
4.
Do you have to have your name? How big?
2 inches.
2 inches, right? What you got, Sean?
so with the license, you said with the inactive, you can, pay the money to get it active. If you get it active, can you turn it inactive in like the case of, you're in it, and you just.
Absolutely.
maybe you wanna work
So let's do
for
2020,
somebody else.
let's say y'all are gonna all get an active license today. And then you decide you go to work for some other company and you don't need it. Go inactive, okay? And then you decide, Sean, you don't like that company anymore. You work for them for 6 months, you can go right back active.
Does it
okay.
matter how long you leave it inactive?
No, it does not.
So it's.
As long as you
your
pay that
license.
fee and take the CE hours every year. And you
have
can
to-
take 8 hours and it will last 4 hours each year, but I didn't wanna confuse y'all.
Do you have to take it with the active license?
Yes, you do. No, we just make inactive people take it. Active people must have it, for sure, okay? And inactive. I had one guy, I'm almost old enough to not have to take CE, so if you're over 65 and inactive, you don't have to take CE. I'm looking forward to that. No, I like it. That he went inactive and didn't take any CE, so he didn't get his license. He goes, no, you don't understand, I'm over 65 and, I got an active license. Well, you got active, all actives have to take CE, okay? The board thinks if you're out in the business, you should take continuing education. That's CE, continuing education. Pick what you want to. Pick a class that you would like to take, whatever. There's a lot of classes out there that are like, if you don't know how to use Word, that's a approved course, okay? If you wanna take something interesting like, rescue or something. If you wanna go to Las Vegas and take a CE class, then you can do that.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about, right? You can. You can do it all online.
And that's all tax deductible.
Yes, all the all the classes, I haven't had one and a half cups. I'm working on the second one. All the classes out there are on the website, on their website, the board's website. You just look at for continuing education classes. We actually have a couple, I think Brian does a couple, Manuel J, and we have a couple of people that teach CE classes. He usually offer one a year. And sometimes Glenn, who's the investigator, comes up here and does one for free. He's been to Huntsville as well. So look around for maybe the free ones if you don't want to do it, but if there's something interesting that you like, I would pick that. Yes, sir.
Is Calendar year, fiscal year, or? license
Calendar year. January to, December. It'll say it on your license too, and there is no pro rating of the license. So for example, y'all are taking the test in April, passing in April, everybody's passing this test, shake your head yes, we're all passing the test, right?
Yes.
Taking the test, in April, you'll get your license, and then you'll have to renew in October through December. But you don't need CE the first year, okay? You will need it the next year, but if you take it, it'll transfer over. So, if you wait until December to get your license for this year, then you'll have to pay $190 for your 2024 and $190 for your 2025, okay? They don't prorate that, so. I had a class, I think we taught a class in January or November, and they were trying to get their license by the end of the year, and so you have to pay. Is that helpful? Okay. So those are the questions, I think you had, did you have a different question? Same kind of question on the
You
test?
just covered them all.
Okay, good. So we try to cover, and there are 5 of these questions on the exam. I want y'all to pass them all, because you'll need them. I don't want y'all to ask me, I probably ought to stand on my soapbox for a minute. I don't want y'all to call me up and say, well, Kathy, if you don't pass, you say, Kathy, I only missed by 1 question. No, Joshua, you didn't just miss by 1 question, you missed by 35 questions. So, you know, I want y'all to get them all correct, okay? I don't want you to go out of here and go, well, I wanna make a 70 on the exam. I want you to make 100. Make 100, and do your best, okay? Be serious, and tomorrow when Brian gives y'all this test, y'all take it serious, okay? Really, y'all are here for 2 days. Y'all are here for 2 solid days with us. We want y'all to know how to do this, okay? We want y'all to pass, not because it looks good, but I just want y'all to pass. I get it's very exciting for us when y'all call me up and say, oh, Kathy, I passed the exam, what do I need to do next? It's very exciting, because I feel like we've done something right, okay? That's our whole goal, okay? And to make your life miserable for 2 days. Because Brian's gonna teach you some really cool stuff, but I'm about to teach y'all NASCA, and I'm gonna make everybody get up and do jumping jacks. It's gonna be rough. Get some candy, eat some sugar. Yes, it's gonna be fun, okay? Any questions about the law? Any questions about anything? Does anybody have the little green book? A little green book? I saw somebody with a green book. Yeah, that's great. There's a couple of things changed in there though, but we can fix those, okay? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, I'll be back. I don't get to take a nap today.
Not today. Right. Yes, the bar is high. We don't want anybody selling for 70%. I want you all to make 100. Shoot for 100. You know, if I'm gonna learn how to lift weights and I wanna compete at 125 pounds, I'm gonna practice with 150. You know, I mean, why do you wanna, don't get that mentality. This test is so passable. If you would just stay organized, which is what we're gonna tell you here in just a minute. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm gonna just go back there and flip it a few times.
You can do that, it's like an old slideshow, you know? So where do you begin? Look at all these books you've got. Oh my God. Some of you may have gotten that IRC in the mail, opened it up and went, oh, this thing is huge. Is this gonna all be on my exam? No, it won't. But a good portion of it will. We're gonna tell you where those sections are at, okay? This test seems so broad, and it is. Anytime you bring multiple books into a professional exam, it's gonna be a broad exam. I will say one thing further, open book exams are much tougher than closed book exams. You think, no it's not, it is. But we got all the answers. Yeah, you do. And 5 hours to find them. That's the hard part. See, with a closed book exam, you either know the answer or you don't. If you don't, move on. Here's what can happen in this book. That's what I'm gonna guard you against. I'm gonna preach it all weekend long. Is falling in love. I'm not gonna tell you who told me that term, but I like it. Falling in love with one of those questions. I love that term. I won't have to pay him money for this. Falling in love with. You know what that means? Spent too long on one question. TikTok, see, the clock is relentless. It doesn't stop. More people tell us that they run out of time. Why? Not organized. Fall in love with some questions. What does that mean? It means that question is not worthy of that much time. You can miss 33 questions and pass this test. I don't want you to do that or rely on that, but that's mathematically the issue, okay? Why would you want to spend 7 or 8 minutes trying to find the answer to one question when you got 84 questions left to go? That question's not worth that much time. And when you start to focus in on the mentality I'm going to try to put you into this morning, you'll begin to agree. This is a job, okay? Don't take this test personal. It's a job. How do you do a job? How do you make the most profit on any job that you do? Which is called efficiency, right? Efficiency. You stay efficient on this exam, your chances of doing really, really, really well on this exam go way up, way up. Take it for someone who's taken this exam over 40 years many times. I took the old paper copy where you circle in the bubble. Well, we've come a long way. Now it's all on the computer. 2 ways you can take this test. You can take it at home on your own personal computer, or you can take it in a facility on their computer. It's going to be computerized either way. Not hard. You say, well, do all of you know you can take it at home? If you have, now you know. If you have a secure location with no interruptions, a room that's not going to be interrupted, you can't put it in the middle of your living room where your kids running through. They won't let you do that. Or if you go in an office where people are in or out or can hear you or bother you, cannot do that. But if you have a room that you can close the door, it's a private room, you have a computer that has a camera on it where they can see you and hear you, you can hear them, then you can take this exam online in the privacy of your home. They have, again, COVID changed things for good and bad. That's another one of the good things that changed, because it forced Prove and PSI and those companies who give exams to be able to give them remotely. So that's a huge plus for us. If you prefer to take it in a facility, then you'll have to go to a college campus. I think Huntsville's UAH, here it's Jefferson State. I think Jack State gives it, AUM in Montgomery. You can find a facility, but you've got to drive there, do their rules, and then somebody's going to be breathing down your neck. I mean, there'll be a proctor in person. There's going to be a proctor on the home version as well, but they're going to be in India watching you via satellite camera, okay? They're not going to be breathing down your neck. A little nicer for most people. So you do have that option. Either way, it doesn't matter. You pick when you schedule your exam, you pick it, and then you can go accordingly, okay? I like taking it, in my office or somewhere. I don't like going to a facility. Your choice. I want to go over both of them with you real quick. If you look at all this myriad of information that you have, how do you begin? Well, first off, you begin by thinking this way, all right? This is in your workbook. Follow me in your workbook. I got this stuff in there. Should be in there. I have had these techniques for many years. I believe in sticking with things if it works. I'm an old soul. Man, if it works for me, I stick with it. If it works for you, stick with it. These techniques work. I don't care who you are. Here's your problem. I was going to tell every one of you, I have no qualms just telling you all the whole unabashed, blatant truth. Your pride's going to be your biggest problem on this test. Your pride. What do you mean? About pride. I know the answer to that question. I know it. I'm going to not stop until I find that answer. That's your pride. Don't do this test that way. If you let that get the best of you, look up at the clock. Ooh. Clock hits 0, you're finished. Whether you're finished or not, you're finished. There is no extra time. They don't give you a 2-minute warning. They don't give you a grace period. They don't say, hey, hold on, I'm almost finished. Hold on. No, it's computerized. It will default you, cut you off at 5 hours, no matter what. So you don't have the time, but you've got to get rid of your pride just for a little while. Meaning, do it a different way. That's the whole thing. My way or the highway, baby. Well, good. Go ahead and do that test again. You can keep on trying to beat that system if you want to. I will not minimize the fact that there are a lot of people who are really good at taking tests. Whatever the topic. They're just good at it. That's fine. Most of us, myself included, are not. I've had to teach myself to take this kind of test because you went through school. If you went through 12th grade, forget college. In school, they teach me how to take a test by default. What does that mean? Well, they have me a 10-question quiz, and I'm gonna answer number 1 before I go to number 2. Then I ain't gonna go to number 3 till I answer number 1 and 2. Now, they never told me that. No teacher ever said you cannot go to number 2 before you answer number 1. It's just a default. We fell into that pattern, right? We didn't read ahead. This is a total opposite of that. I'm going to encourage you to read ahead, way ahead. This does not have to be done sequentially. You get all 110 questions at your disposal at the very beginning of the 5 hours. All of them, back and forth. You can read them as many times as you want, back and forth. You can change answers if you want to. You can do anything within that 5 hours. Some people think when they answer one, it goes away and they never see it again. On this test, it's not the case. They will all be in your control the entire 5 hours. Okay? So if you're going along and you say, "Ooh, that was the wrong answer for number that one over there. Let me go back to that one and change it," because you found the right answer, right? You can do that. So that makes it better for us, much, much better. And there's a technique that I have used forever. I don't care if I take an exam with one book on it. A gas fitter's exam, typically the International Fuel Gas Code is all I need. I still do the same method because it makes it easier for me. And hopefully it's going to do it for you too. First thing is that morning or that afternoon, don't do anything weird because you got to sit there for 5 hours. You don't normally go to the Waffle House and have the champion breakfast with everything in it. Don't do it that morning either. Keep it simple, all right? It will affect you. Whatever affects your body will affect this test. I'm being a little bit gross here, but you know what I'm saying? Keep it simple. Next, check in early. If you're going to a facility, a school, Jefferson State, UAH, whatever, get there 30 minutes before your scheduled time so they can check you in. If you're doing it online, yes, sir.
You have a, take it home, you have a glitch, does your time stop or does it keep going?
Time stops. I'm gonna tell you about that in a minute, because I just had 4 glitches just the other day. I wanna bring y'all really up to date. Y'all not gonna like what I say about this. It's true. You wanna get there early. Don't come in at the last minute. Do not come in there at 9:01 if you have a 9 o'clock appointment. They can reject you. That proctor, if you're in person, that proctor has the right to say, you know what, you're late, I can't deal with you right now. You have to go reschedule. And then they may actually make you pay again. Understand, you're kind of at their mercy at this point. You're the customer, but they have rules on how you get their product. The test is their product. If you're online, you're gonna do it online, start checking in early. They'll be fine with it. I got a 9 a.m. check-in, I'm checking in at 8:30. I'm gonna go ahead and get onboarded. It's a big process to get you to the online version of it. You gotta go through 2 people to get there. I'll tell you more about that in a minute, but you do wanna be early. Also, if you're gonna do this in your home or your office, you have to be able to show them a 360-degree view of the room. If you have a laptop, you gotta turn it all the way around the room so they see what you see. If you have a desktop, hopefully you got an add-on camera where you can do that. You don't want to pick up the desk, right? But you do have, they won't negotiate that. You've got to be able to show them that view around your room, okay? This is your onboarding. Then you want to make sure you have 2 blank pieces of paper. They will give you, unless you have 2 blank pieces of paper, typing paper, copy paper, whatever, okay? Or even lined legal pad paper, as long as there's nothing written on it. Can't have anything written on that paper when they see it. You give you 2, because for scratch, math, doodles, drawing, whatever you want to do, you can write anything you want to on it during the test, all right? No loose papers in your books. They're going to make you put your books up to the camera. If you're in person, they're going to take your books. That person's going to take them from you, inspect them themselves. On the camera, on a remote, you just have to hold it up to the camera, show them the title of the book. They have a list, make sure the title matches the Alabama test. They go, that's fine. If you have a 2015, 18, or 21 International Residential Code, all they care about is the title. The edition, they don't care. You got whatever edition it is, it'll be fine. And then they make you thumb through it. It's pretty quick and easy online. You go, whoop, look. They go, okay. Whereas in person, you know, if anything fell out, they're gonna kind of freak out. All right, gotta do that. And then, here's where I'm gonna lose you, right here. Y'all probably hated me till now, you're really gonna hate me now. I'm gonna ask you to do this. When you get there, you get checked in, they say access your test, begin test. Hit the button. If you're in person in a facility, again, begin test. It'll be on a button on a computer in a little computer cubicle. Start your test. Sit back and read all 110 questions. Just like you're sitting right there. Arms crossed. Let's read. Forget your books. Don't even touch a book. See, you're already starting to think, this man's crazy. He's out of his mind. I don't have time for this. You really don't have time to not do this. You want to try it the other way? Here's why. By reading all 110 questions first, I know what's coming. I know the severity of what's coming. I have no surprises when I get to number 80. And it's a P&L statement from Quality Construction Company, and I gotta figure their net profit income. That's on there, by the way. I don't want that to surprise me later. I wanna know now. There is a multitude of benefits for doing what I say do, or what I'm suggesting that you do. One of them is that you get the flavor of the exam, but I'm gonna give you a little bit of reprieve here. While you're reading them, while you're reading the 110 questions, answer the ones you know. Okay, whew. Thank God. Nominal CFM per ton for human comfort air conditioning is 300, 400, 500, 600. 400, we all agree with that. 300 is too low, 500 is too high, right? 400. I don't really have to look that up. Answer it. Mark it off. It's done. It's answered. That's in my pocket. Got that one in my pocket pretty quick, I ain't touching a book. The more of those you get, I call it in your pocket, that you know the answer to. And you will. You cannot be around this industry for any length of time and not already know some of these answers. It is not a scientific equation exam. You will know some of them. Answer them now, quickly. The ones that you don't know the answer to, or you think you might know the answer to. I think it's this one. I'm not sure. Then code it. Don't answer it, code it. What do you mean by coding it? On your blank piece of paper, one of those blank pieces of paper, I would recommend that you do this. We'll give you a copy of this tomorrow. You don't have it in your book, just hang with me. You understand it here in a second. I'm just gonna make me a couple of lines in there. And I'm gonna put all of my IRC questions together. We'll put all my RAT questions, that's refrigeration, air conditioning technology. That's general knowledge stuff about air conditioning and refrigeration. Manual J, Manual D, NASCLA, so on. I'm just gonna make myself a column for each one. You can do that. They don't care. What you draw on that paper is none of their business, and they don't care. Because they're gonna want you to tear it in half when you get through anyway, in front of them. Tear that piece of paper up. I don't. I always click out just before they say that.
Can you go ahead and have your table?
I would not do it prior to. I would show them 2 blank pieces of paper. Don't do this in advance. Once you start, while you're reading, draw yourself some columns over here. So you say, well, okay, I get that. So while I'm reading along, number 1 says that you shall not install a duct system less than blank above the earth. Well, the answer is 4 inches. That's what they get. But what in that question led you to believe it was a code question? Shall not. Absolute statements are codes. They're not creative enough, never have been, never will be, to write a code question and not use the word that's in the sentence of the code. If I pull your code book open right now and pick a paragraph, the word shall not, required or not required, will be in that paragraph. One of those will be in there. Every paragraph. Doesn't matter. Well, that's absolute. That's a code. How many code books do you have in front of you? One. Wow, you didn't got to choose between which code it is. That's a code question. So question number 1 is gonna go right up here in IRC. I may not know the answer right now. That's fine. I know the question number 1 is gonna be found in that book. So I go along, question number 2, the P&L statement for Quality Construction Company, their net debt ratio is blank. The only book I got talks about P&L statements is NASPR. I don't know the answer right now, but number 2, I'm gonna look at NASPR. You see what I'm doing here? You say, that's time consuming. Yeah, so is going back taking this test again. I'm just telling you, I believe in this process because it works. I'll bring my sheet in a little while that I took on this last test the other day. I got one for every test. Everybody that passes, and we know, I encourage you to give me the sheet. If you can save it, send it to us. I want it. We collect them. So I'm just gonna go through the entire test. Now, if I answer number 2, I just happen to know that debt ratio. I answered it. But I want to prove it later. I'm still going to put number 2 right there with a question mark next to it. If I can go, that means I want to go back later and just double check it. See, the idea is that after 4 hours on this test, you have a whole hour to go back and double check some stuff and take a breath. Because if you're up to 4 hours and 59 minutes and you're still scrambling, you're doing it wrong. You're working way too hard. Promise you. All right? This works every time. If I want to know the operation in the set point, or what does a TXV do, what book am I going to look in from find out what a TXV does?
Right.
The textbook, right? You see how the differential between these books are? If I want to know the heat load of a southwest window of drawing number 1's house in the wintertime or the summertime, what book am I going to go to? Manual J, right? How to install a residential duct system. By the way, this Manual D and Manual J, I'll use yours real quick, stay with that, okay? These are not codes. These are standards. Standards and codes are what we live by in this industry. Standards are educated suggestions on how to do it right. That's a standard. What these are. Code says, we don't really care if it's right or wrong. If you like it or not, you do it this way. And there's a reason you do it this way. What does a code really do?
Keep you out of trouble.
Keeps you out of trouble.
Protects the consumer
From what?
from any liabilities that we could cause.
I don't want that unit falling through the ceiling, hurting someone, or the structure. I want the condensate to be well protected and get out so that the water don't come through these people's ceiling. I don't want to burn their house down. I don't want to flood it out. And I don't want to destroy it by anything else. Those are codes. Standards say, if you want your ductwork to work correctly and to hold together nice and tight, here's how you should make your duct. That's a standard. Does that make sense? See the difference? And then the code's going to tell you how to hang it. They're going to tell you how to make it. Code don't tell you how to make anything, it just tells you how to install it. 2 reasons for the code. What you just said is one of them, to protect the consumer. The other one is to make it easier to maintain. Maintenance is part of codes. They want it installed to where you can maintain it easily and not have to kill yourself or move a whole bunch of stuff to get to something. That's all codes are about. All right? Ductulator. There'll be several questions on the ductulator on the test. I just had 4 just the other day. They required me getting my ductulator and just telling them what size round pipe it was. Very easy. But it'd be a ductulator. How's a ductulator question written? A 16-inch round metal duct carrying 1200 CFM would have a velocity of what? Line them up, give an answer. Those are how the ductulator questions are. You know how to design ductwork on this test. All right? Code them. Code them all. Answer the ones you know. When you get through answering, you get to number 110, breathe for a second. Which one has the most? Or which one has the least? It's your choice now. I want to do ductulator because I've only got 4 ductulator questions. Let me do those first. Get your ductulator And on the duck letter, you might have questions 4, 9, 57, and 81. Go to those, answer those. And then put the duck letter away. What's next? IRC, man, there is 34 questions out of the IRC. Grab your IRC and answer all 34. Out of order. Mark them off as you go. Here's what's gonna happen if you do it the other way. And all of us are pretty much in this category. Your brain can't take it. I don't mean you're not smart. When you have to read question 1 and it is a code question, and number 2 is a manual J-load calculation question, and number 3 is an ASCII question, and number 4, you go back to Duckulator again, and number 5, after so much time of switching back and forth topics on every single question, you get tired. You may not realize it, but you are. Your sharpness is going away. You're changing topics too rapidly. It will slow you down. Time is your enemy on this test. Knowledge is not. You wouldn't be here if you didn't know some things about heating and cooling. You wouldn't. Time is your biggest enemy. So why don't we beat time? Right? We all have the same amount. Let's beat it. Do that, code the ones you know the answers to. This will let you go back later and double check. If you have a question about one of your answers, put a question mark next to it so you have time to go back. The whole idea is to have time to go back and double check these things and make sure you haven't left anything undone. Okay? Does that make some kind of sense? That ain't magic. It's just called organization. If we're putting in a duct system tomorrow, I'm gonna rough it in. I need duct. What else? Screws, sealant, tape, right? Hangers. I need metal cutters, don't I? Might need the sawzall so I can cut my holes in the floor and put my boots in, right? I need all those things. If I get all the way up to the job and I'm missing 2 of them, I gotta drive all the way back. I'm becoming very inefficient. Keep efficiency in front of you, all right? Does that make sense? I want to give you this tomorrow for our test, kind of give you an idea. I'll give you a copy of this. You just sort of practice. While you're here this weekend, practice. It's going to feel real unnatural, though. It's very unnatural to read all these questions first, answer the ones I know, and then go back and code the other ones. Code them as you go. You'll know. You know what? If there's 1 or 2 or 3 that you got in the wrong category, you'll find it. You'll find it. I will say this, let me go back to this real quick. While I'm looking for number 3's answer in the IRC, since I've already read them all, while I'm looking for the answer to number 3 to go ahead and nail it down, I'll come across the answer to number 6 and 12. Oh, there's that one. Oh, there's that one. Amazing how it falls out in your lap. Trust me, falls out in your lap every time. Okay? Whole idea is to get 40 of these before you even touch a book. What? 40, 30, 40. Feels better to only use up an hour and have 40 questions in your pocket. That makes you feel good. All right? This is part of this and your time clock. Time clock's tied to this. I have seen people lose their mind when the time clock starts. They're calm as a cucumber. Then the clock starts, and they start throwing books. They get crazy. They start shuffling pages. It's like they totally lose their mind because they're racing that clock. Slow down a minute. Think it through. You beat the clock. Any questions on that? Make sense? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to give you a break now. We'll come back. We're going to finish up this section. I see somebody going.